Let us begin with a truth so powerful, so certain, that once it is understood, it can change the entire trajectory of your life. The mind is the master weaver of destiny. Every circumstance, every fortune, every moment of success or failure is first born in the unseen world of thought. If you are poor, it is not due to the absence of opportunity. If you are mediocre, it is not because greatness was denied you. If you are living far beneath your capabilities, it is not because fate has been unkind. It is because your mind has not yet been trained to think in terms of unlimited riches. The truth is this: riches, wealth, abundance in all its forms, begin as a state of mind. Before you can manifest gold in your bank account, you must forge it in your thoughts. You must train your inner dialogue to reject limitation, to reject doubt, to reject poverty. Not only material poverty, but poverty of spirit. You must see wealth not just as numbers in a ledger, but as an energy, a frequency, a mindset. And like any frequency, you must tune your thoughts until they vibrate in harmony with it. This is not fantasy, it is the working of immutable law. Whatever the mind dwells upon, be it fear or faith, lack or luxury, it will inevitably attract. The individual who masters the art of focusing their mind solely on abundance, on possibility, on growth, shall rise. Even if they begin in obscurity, even if they start in rags, the magnetism of their faith, the sheer power of their definiteness, will draw to them the opportunities, people, ideas, and resources to climb to the summit of success. But it does not happen by accident. You must train for it as you would train your body for strength. You must repeat thoughts of riches with the same devotion an athlete trains in the gym. You must affirm wealth when the world tells you there's none to be found. You must visualize success when all you can see with your eyes is struggle. This is where most fail. They are too easily swayed by appearances. They believe in the evidence of the senses instead of the evidence of faith. But the truly wise understand that every great fortune, every breakthrough invention, every monument of enterprise, first began as a quiet thought in the mind of one individual who dared to believe in unseen riches. Ask yourself now, what thoughts do I dwell upon? Do you entertain images of success or of failure? Do you picture yourself advancing in life, or do you secretly expect defeat? You cannot think of poverty and attract prosperity. You cannot dwell in fear and receive abundance. You must pick one and live in it completely. Let your mind become a fortress for prosperity. Let no negative thought pass its gates. Whenever a thought of lack arises, challenge it. Replace it, speak against it, say to yourself, this is not my reality. My mind is a garden of abundance. I think only of increase, expansion, and limitless wealth. Day by day, brick by brick, you will build a new mental mansion. One where every room is filled with belief, every hallway echoes with faith, and every window opens to the bright vistas of opportunity. From this house you shall live, and from this house you shall rule. But it is not enough to think alone. Thought must be married to action. Once your mind is conditioned for riches, you must act with that same belief. Carry yourself as though success is certain. Speak as though your fortune is already in your hands. Make decisions boldly, for the one who believes in wealth attracts it like iron to a magnet. Remember, you are not trying to get rich. You are remembering that you already are. You are unlocking that which has always been yours. You are aligning your mind with the truth that abundance is the default of this universe, not the exception. Wealth belongs to those who claim it, not through begging, not through hoping, but through unwavering belief and inspired action. Train your mind each day to expect miracles. Let no thought of failure find shelter in your heart. Think constantly of expansion, of greatness, of success so vast it elevates all who touch your life. Then, and only then, shall you see the riches you once dreamed of appear, not as a surprise, but as a natural harvest of the seeds you planted long ago in the garden of your mind. You are meant for riches. Now train your mind to believe it, and the world will follow. There is a law as absolute as gravity that governs the unfolding of your success, and it begins not in the world outside, but within the silent corridors of your own mind. Riches, true and lasting riches, do not begin in your wallet. They begin in your thoughts. Every dollar earned, every empire built, every triumph achieved was first born in the invisible world of thought. Your outer life, your financial condition, your results in business, health, or happiness are nothing more than a mirror, yes, a direct reflection, of the dominant thoughts you think every single day. You must come to see the mind as fertile soil. In that soil you may plant anything. Plant seeds of prosperity, and you shall reap riches. Plant seeds of doubt, and you shall harvest failure. The soil does not care what you plant. It simply returns to you multiplied what you sow. Most men and women go through life unaware of this truth. They believe success is a game of chance, that riches belong to the fortunate few. They do not understand that their poverty, their struggle, their mediocrity is a natural consequence of the seeds they have been planting unconsciously, seeds of limitation, of fear, of hopeless resignation. The great difference between those who succeed greatly and those who fail habitually is not education, nor background, nor even opportunity. It is how they train and direct their minds. The successful man disciplines his thinking. He watches his thoughts like a guardian watches a gate. He permits only that which is useful, empowering, and abundant to pass through. The failure, by contrast, allows his mind to become a dumping ground for worry, envy, lack, and fear. He wonders why he never attracts wealth, yet he has never bothered to cultivate the conditions in his mind that invite wealth to appear. You must understand this. Riches are not something to chase. They are something to become. And to become rich, you must first think rich. You must carry in your mind a clear and definite picture of the wealth you desire, and you must allow no contradiction, no discouragement, and no delay to blur that picture. The clearer the image, the stronger the belief, the faster the results will move in your direction. Thought, when held persistently, begins to shape your actions. Actions, when done with belief, begin to shape your habits. And habits, repeated with intention, shape the entire course of your destiny. But the origin of it all, the root of all riches, is still your thought. Now I ask you, what do you think about when you are alone? What thoughts dominate your mornings, your evenings, your idle moments? Are you constantly imagining the success you desire, or are you quietly expecting things to remain the same? You cannot rise above the level of your dominant thoughts. If your mind is filled with fear, worry, and doubt, your results will reflect that chaos. But if your thoughts are fixed upon progress, increase, and abundance, if you imagine yourself wealthy, strong, and influential, then you are already on the path to make that vision a fact. Your subconscious mind does not argue with you. It accepts what you tell it. Good or bad, rich or poor, success or failure. If you tell it daily, I am surrounded by opportunity. I am becoming wealthier with every idea, every action, every decision. Then your inner world begins to align with that command. Your energy changes, you walk differently, you speak differently, and in time the world responds to the change within you. There is no man so poor that he cannot begin to think richly. There is no woman so overlooked that she cannot begin to train her mind for greatness. The only qualification needed is desire, a burning desire to change, to grow, to become more than what you have been. The moment you decide that your mind will only entertain thoughts of increase, of abundance, and of possibility, the very forces of the universe will begin to conspire in your favor. You are the master of your fate because you are the master of your thoughts. And if you will only believe in this law, commit to it daily, and feed your mind with only the richest ideas, you will see riches, not as distant dreams, but as inevitable realities taking shape before your very eyes. There is no mystery more misunderstood by the masses than this. You attract what you think about most often. This is no fable. It is a principle that governs every life, every fortune, every destiny. Whether one is aware of it or not, whether one believes in it or mocks it, this law is in continuous operation. It works as surely as the tides, as faithfully as the rising sun, and as precisely as gravity. And until you learn to direct it, it will continue to direct you. You are living today in the results of yesterday's thinking. Your present circumstances, your income, your relationships, your status are not accidents. They are the harvest of seeds you have planted repeatedly in the soil of your mind. And if those results are unsatisfactory, there is only one thing to change: the thoughts you entertain, the emotions you allow. The mental pictures you dwell upon. The one who constantly thinks of lack attracts more of it. The one who believes life is a struggle lives in struggle. But the individual who fills their mind with images of progress, of abundance, of joyful achievement, draws to themselves the people, circumstances, and resources to make those images real. This is not imagination. It is law. Every thought you think sends out a vibration. That vibration acts like a signal, broadcasting to the universe what you expect, what you believe, what you claim to be true. The universe, in return, reflects that signal with conditions, with encounters, with opportunities, or the absence of them. You are never being punished or favored. You are simply receiving what you summon. Now, let us be honest. Most people have never trained their mind to think intentionally. They think habitually, and most of those habits are negative. They dwell on what they fear, on what they lack, on what could go wrong. Then they are surprised when life mirrors back that same disorder. But life does not give you what you want. It gives you what you expect. The question then is this: what do you expect? When you approach your day, do you silently anticipate success? Do you walk into the room with the feeling that something wonderful awaits you? Or do you carry with you a quiet dread, a shadow of doubt, a background hum of scarcity and limitation? You see, expectation is faith in motion. When you think often and emotionally about what you desire, you are telling your subconscious that it is real, that it is on the way, that you are worthy of it. And in doing so, you open your eyes to opportunities you never noticed before. You become alert, awake, receptive, and that state of being pulls results into your orbit. Your dominant thoughts become your dominant reality. A man who believes he cannot succeed will not take the actions that lead to success. A woman who believes money is evil will find a way to repel it, even when it comes near, but a mind steeped in belief, in bold expectation, will act with confidence, speak with authority, and decide with power. And these actions, born from belief, will create outcomes to match. This is why it is critical that you do not simply hope for success. You must train yourself to think success, not once a week, not when you feel inspired, but daily, persistently, unwaveringly. Just as you cannot plant seeds one day and expect a harvest the next, you cannot affirm abundance once and expect a fortune to fall into your lap. But if you persist, if you continually feed your mind with thoughts of increase, gratitude, and fearless expectancy, then the harvest will come. It must come. Everything begins within. Your environment, your income, your associations. These are effects. The cause is always invisible, and the cause is always thought. If you desire to attract better, think better. If you wish to draw success into your experience, become success in your thinking. Speak of the future you want as though it is already on its way. Think of yourself as prosperous, even when appearances say otherwise. Picture yourself strong, decisive, and victorious, especially when circumstances tempt you to do the opposite. This is not delusion. It is decision. It is the decision to align with the creative power that governs all life. You are never truly stuck. You are only ever stuck in thought, but thought can be changed in a moment, and when your dominant thoughts shift, your world must follow. One of the most damaging habits a person can ever form is the habit of poverty thinking. This is not merely about lacking money in the bank. It is far more subtle and dangerous. Poverty thinking is the quiet acceptance that limitation is normal, that greatness is for others, and that one must simply get by in life. It is the belief that life is governed by scarcity, that resources are few, and that one must scramble or beg to receive even a portion of success. And make no mistake, so long as this type of thinking exists in your mind, wealth cannot stay. It will flee from you as surely as light flees from darkness. You must reject poverty thinking at the root. It has no place in the life of one who seeks abundance. It has no place in the mind of a person who desires to rise above average and claim their rightful share of the world's riches. You cannot plant weeds and expect to grow roses. You cannot feed your subconscious with fear, doubt, and lack, and then wonder why prosperity never shows up. Poverty is not just an external condition. It is first a mental condition. Many people wear fine clothes, drive impressive vehicles, live in grand homes, and still think poorly. They walk in fear of losing what they have. They act as though opportunity is drying up. Their minds are saturated with the thought of limitation, and so, no matter how much they acquire, they are never free. They are rich in appearance but poor in spirit. On the other hand, the man or woman who has trained themselves to think in terms of increase, even if their pockets are empty today, is wealthy already in mind. And that wealth of mind will, in time, transform their outer world. For the outer is always the reflection of the inner. You must make a decision, yes, a definite decision, that poverty thinking will no longer be tolerated in your life. From this moment forward, you must become the master of your thoughts and the gatekeeper of your inner world. Allow nothing in your mental space that weakens you. Do not speak of how hard life is. Do not agree with those who constantly complain. Do not dwell on the news of lack, recession, or crisis. That is not your truth. That is not your path. You are not here to merely survive. You are here to expand. You are not here to shrink back. You are here to rise up. And you cannot rise up if your mind is chained by thoughts of insufficiency. Understand this. Every time you say to yourself, "I can't afford it," or "there's never enough," or "things just don't work out for me," you are affirming poverty. You are rehearsing failure. You are planting thorns in the garden of your destiny, and the longer you do this, the more familiar it becomes. The more familiar it becomes, the more real it feels. And before you know it, you've built a life that perfectly reflects the limitations you never meant to make permanent. Break this cycle now. Begin to replace every thought of limitation with a thought of expansion. Instead of saying, "I can't afford that," ask yourself, "How can I create the value that will allow me to experience this?" Instead of saying, "I don't know how," declare, "I'm learning every day and I'm capable of discovering what I need." Instead of thinking of what you lack, give thanks for what is already yours and for what is on its way. This is how you shift your thinking from poverty to prosperity. Guard your mind as you would guard a treasure chest. The thoughts you allow in will determine the riches that flow out. If a man owns a field and lets it grow wild with weeds, is it the fault of the land or the fault of the one who failed to plant deliberately? So it is with your mind. You are not a victim. You are not at the mercy of outside forces. You are the captain of your mental ship. You steer the direction. You choose the weather. And when you eliminate every trace of poverty thinking and replace it with a mindset of abundance, of confidence, of gratitude, and of expectation, then you will find that wealth begins to come to you in ways that seem almost miraculous. But it will not be a miracle. It will be the natural outworking of a law you finally obeyed. There is a secret known by every person who has climbed from obscurity to greatness, from poverty to riches, from doubt to power. It is the deliberate use of two magnificent tools that are available to all, but used consciously by few, visualization and affirmation. Do not mistake these tools for idle daydreams or wishful thinking. They are not fanciful exercises to make one feel better. They are the disciplined instruments of creation. Every man who has accomplished something extraordinary has first seen it, clearly, vividly, and repeatedly, in the workshop of his mind. And he has spoken it into life with the authority of belief. Your mind does not know the difference between a vividly imagined reality and a physical one. It responds to what you show it, and what you show it repeatedly becomes your subconscious command. When you begin to see yourself day after day as wealthy, capable, powerful, confident, and deserving, your actions shift, your behavior evolves, you speak with more conviction, you decide more boldly. You attract differently, and slowly the outer world begins to bend in response to this internal image. You cannot rise above the image you hold of yourself. If you see yourself as average, the world will treat you accordingly. If you see yourself as poor, life will make sure you remain in that condition. But when you train your inner eye to see riches, to see advancement, to see contribution and influence and expansion, then you are sending a command. You are saying, "This is the reality I claim, and I will act as if it is already true." Every day you must take time, even a few minutes, to deliberately visualize your desired life, not vaguely, not half-heartedly, but with total emotional engagement. See yourself living the way you wish to live. Feel the freedom. Sense the confidence in your posture, the tone in your voice, the joy in your spirit. Let your imagination create the blueprint, and let that blueprint be detailed and grand. Now, visualization alone is only part of the equation. You must speak it too. The spoken word is creative power. When you affirm with belief, you are not begging the universe. You are commanding your own mind to remember what is possible. Words, when fueled by faith, become bridges between thought and reality. Affirmations must be definite. Speak in the present tense. Say, "I am becoming wealthier every day. I am attracting the right ideas, people, and opportunities. I am deserving of financial freedom and use it to create more value in the world." Repeat these words not as hollow chants, but as declarations of truth. Speak them in the morning. Speak them before sleep. Speak them when doubt appears at your doorstep. You are not lying to yourself. You are reprogramming the internal patterns that have limited you for far too long. Some may scoff at this practice. Let them. The results speak louder than the critics. The doubter remains stuck, analyzing and ridiculing, but the believer walks forward with vision, with energy, and with the magnetism of conviction. And life rewards him for it. There is no great leader, no revolutionary creator, no builder of fortunes who did not first see his victory in his mind. Before the structure stands, the architect must first draw the vision. So it is with life. You must build the inner world before the outer world takes shape, and you do this through persistent mental imagery and firm spoken affirmations. You must make this a habit, a ritual, a discipline. Not once in a while, not only when you feel good, especially when you feel resistance, especially when nothing outside yet confirms your vision. That is when faith must become your companion and imagination your guide. You are not limited by your current conditions. You are only limited by the images you repeat and the words you speak. Change the inner narrative and the outer story must follow. See yourself as rich, not just in money, but in purpose, in joy, in influence, in peace. Speak as one who is already walking in the direction of destiny. Let your words carry the tone of someone who knows where they are headed. And in time, the doors will open, the mountains will move, and your life will rise to match the standard you dared to declare. This is the quiet power used by the wise. Now it is yours to use. Thought without action is like a blueprint left in a drawer, full of potential but powerless to create. The man who dreams of riches and yet remains idle is no better than the one who never dared to dream at all. If you would attract wealth, if you would climb the mountain of success, you must do more than think. You must act. And not just any action, but decisive, bold, unwavering action that flows directly from the belief you have planted in your heart. Let us be very clear, belief is not passive, belief is not something you whisper to yourself while hoping the world changes. Belief is power, belief is fire, belief is movement. It stirs you from within and pushes you to step forward when others hesitate. And it is through this kind of action born of conviction that riches are created. You must not wait for the stars to align. You must not wait until every answer is clear and every obstacle removed. The person who waits for the perfect moment remains a prisoner of perfection and dies with his potential still locked inside him. Success favors the one who begins. The one who moves forward in faith, who starts where they are, who uses what they have, and trusts that the way will appear as they walk it. Opportunity rarely announces itself in grand fashion. It often comes disguised as hard work, risk, or temporary inconvenience. The timid man runs from it, but the one who is trained to act with belief recognizes it for what it is, a door that opens only for those bold enough to knock. You must train yourself to act in accordance with the wealth you desire, even before it is in your possession. Carry yourself as one who already possesses what others still chase. Speak with the confidence of someone who has already earned the trust of fortune. Dress, think, and behave not according to where you are, but where you are going. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. You are bringing your behavior in harmony with your vision, and that harmony becomes a magnetic force that draws success to you. Action is the bridge between imagination and realization. If you see a life of abundance in your mind, but do not act on its behalf, you are like a man who gazes at a feast but never lifts his fork. The universe responds to energy, not idle hopes, not half-hearted wishes, but definite movement in a definite direction. Even the smallest step taken in faith is more valuable than the grandest plan that never leaves the paper. Begin today, begin now. You already know enough to move forward. If more knowledge is needed, it will come as you walk. But do not fall into the trap of endless preparation. Life is a classroom, but the lessons only begin when you show up and engage. You cannot steer a ship that is anchored at the shore. Set sail and course correct as you go. Every person who has amassed great wealth has, at some point, leapt without a safety net. They made decisions others feared. They acted when the outcome was not guaranteed, and it was in that leap that their greatness was born. They trusted the unseen, and their faith made their fortune. You must become comfortable with the discomfort of uncertainty. You must become more loyal to your vision than to your fear. The man who waits for courage before acting will wait forever. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement in spite of it, and the more you move, the more confident you become. Momentum is built through motion, and confidence is earned, not given. Your actions are the proof of your belief. If you truly believe you are meant to succeed, then you will act like it. If you believe that abundance is your destiny, then your steps will be bold, your voice will be strong, and your habits will reflect a person of rising stature. And as you move with purpose, the world will begin to move with you. Doors will open, allies will appear, resources will flow, not because you waited, but because you acted, not because you hoped, but because you demonstrated your belief through movement. So do not hesitate. Act, speak, decide, advance. Let your thoughts fuel your decisions, and your decisions shape your destiny. In the realm of success, it is not the thinker alone who wins. It is the thinker who moves. There is a truth so powerful, so liberating, and so often ignored, that when embraced, it becomes the cornerstone of every fortune ever built. It is this: you were not created for scarcity. You were born into a world of abundance. designed for expansion, destined for increase. The tragedy is that most men and women never come to realize this. They spend their lives believing in the illusion of lack. They believe there is not enough money, not enough opportunity, not enough time, not enough luck. And in believing this, they carve out lives of quiet desperation, always chasing, never receiving, always surviving, never truly living. But the truth is unchanging. Abundance is not the exception. It is the rule. Look at the natural world. The trees do not grow one leaf and stop. The seas do not carry one wave and retire. The stars do not shine once and disappear. Everywhere around you, nature reveals the law of more, the law of expansion, the law of limitless supply. This same law governs your mind, your life, and your potential. The only thing that separates those who live in abundance from those who live in want is awareness. Awareness of the fact that the universe does not withhold, only the mind does. The person who believes there is not enough will always find evidence to confirm that belief. They will see others succeed and interpret it as a threat. They will treat money like a vanishing resource. They will hold tightly to what little they have, and in doing so, shut themselves off from receiving more. Their thoughts contract, their habits shrink, their lives reflect the very scarcity they fear. On the other hand, the individual who embraces the truth of unlimited riches thinks differently. They understand that opportunity is infinite, that wealth is created, not divided, that the more value they produce, the more they receive. They give freely, they act generously, they invest boldly, and because they operate on the frequency of abundance, they attract it in ever-increasing measure. The most dangerous lie you can ever believe is that success is limited to a chosen few. That some people were born lucky, born favored, born with a silver spoon in hand. This lie weakens your spirit, it blinds your vision, it strips you of your power, because once you accept it, you stop trying. You make small plans, you settle for less, and you convince yourself that this somehow is wisdom, but make no mistake, settling for less is not wisdom, it is surrender. You must declare with total conviction that abundance is your birthright. Not because of your name, not because of your background, but because you are a thinking being, capable of choosing your thoughts, directing your actions, and shaping your destiny. That alone makes you rich beyond measure. Let go of the old ideas that no longer serve you. Release the mental habits of lack and limitation. Stop measuring your future by your past. Stop judging your worth based on your bank account. Begin instead to measure your wealth by the clarity of your vision, the strength of your faith, the consistency of your effort, and the generosity of your spirit. Speak abundance, think increase, walk in expectation. Let your daily choices reflect someone who knows their source is limitless, and that source is not a paycheck, not a client, not a market. It is the boundless power that flows through every living thing ready to respond to your belief. When you begin to think like this, your world will change. People will treat you differently. Opportunities will seem to find you. Money will begin to flow more easily because you no longer resist it with thoughts of guilt, doubt, or fear. You will no longer be chasing riches. You will be aligned with them, and what you are aligned with must appear. This is not positive thinking. It is right thinking. It is the recognition that the very laws that govern this universe are on your side, but only when you stop thinking against yourself. Only when you stop imagining shortage and start expecting overflow. You are meant to thrive. You are meant to expand. You are meant to live a life so abundant, so full of purpose and power, that your very existence inspires others to rise. So claim your birthright, not someday. Now think as though abundance is certain, act as though it is already here, and watch how the world begins to rearrange itself to match the power of your new belief.